Today is Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020, and we are now rolling and we are on lesson number 3. Here we go. Let's check this out. The students will be able to, Sobat. It says, represent mixed numbers with units of tens, ones, and tenths with place value discs on a number line and in expanded form. So here we go. We're going to tackle the discs first, and then we can look at a number line, and then we can look at expanding. But we're working with mixed numbers. Mixed numbers mean like it's a fraction, right? Basically. So we have 4 and 3/4. It's a mixed number because there's a whole number and a fraction on there, so it's mixed. So let's take a look at the sheet that I have. Right? So you can see these circles already. Those are discs. Okay? So I'm going to move here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you can see it. Alrighty. So let's make sure I read the instructions here. It says that I should circle groups of tenths to make as many ones as possible. So you can see in here, these are tenths, right? You could see a tenth, a tenth, a tenth, a tenth, a tenth. So if I have tenths, right, I need 10 of them to make one whole. It looks like it's already grouped for us, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so here's a whole, right? And this looks like a whole. And this one's not a whole, so we can't circle it yet. But how many tenths are in all? Well, we know that's a group of 10. This is a group of 10, and this is 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 here. So we have 10, 20, 28, right? So there are 28 tenths. Okay, so because there's 28 of these little guys. But now it says, write and draw the same number using ones and tenths. Okay, so it's basically saying how many ones did you have over here, and then how many tenths do you have left over, right? So how many ones did I have? Well, this was one whole. This is one whole. So I have 2 wholes, right? And then how many tenths do I have? I have 8 tenths. So I have to write this as 2 and 8 tenths. All right? So in decimal form, how do you write 2 and 8 tenths? Well, we're going to write down the 2 because that's the whole number. So 2 and, so when you hear the and, that's the decimal point. And then 8 tenths. So this 8 has to go in the tenths place. The tenths place is right after the decimal. So there you go. So it's 2 and 8 tenths. So if you look back over here on the left, look, we have 2 wholes, and then we have 8 tenths left over. Now it says how much more is needed to get to 3. How can we get this up to 3? Some of you look at that and you'll say, well, you just need 2 more tenths to get to 3, right? Because look, you're missing 1, 2. You're missing 2 of these to get that to be a whole. So I actually need, it says how much more is needed to get to 3. I can't just say 2 of them because they're tenths. So I'd say I need 2 tenths more to get myself up to 3. That's my 2 tenths sitting right here. Okay, let's take a look at these discs. It says how many tenths are in all. Well, it told us to circle the ones that are wholes. So that's one whole. That's another whole. This looks like that's a full whole, but then we have just 3 of these, right? So this is 10 of them, this is 10 of them, that's 10 of them, and then there's 3 left over. So what is that? 10, 20, 30, 33. So I have 33 tenths, right? So over here it does say write and draw the same using ones and tenths. Okay, so how many ones did we have over here? That's the group of that equals 1. This is a group that equals 1, and that equals a group of 1. So we have 3 of those. Okay, so those are my whole ones. And then how many of these do I have? I have 3 tenths left over. Okay, so in decimal form, I pull over the 3 and, so put my decimal, 3 tenths. See, here's 3 and 3 tenths. 3 right? These all make 3. 3 and 3/10. All right, well, the question is, how much more do I need to get this up to 4? Like a total of 4. Okay, well, you would have to fill in enough circles over here to get us all the way up to 10. So it's 1, 2, 3. I'm adding discs, right, to get 10 discs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So how many more discs did I add? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I added 7 discs. Each disc is only worth a 10th, right? So I need 7 of these, and these are 10, so I need 7/10. So I'd literally write it as 7/10. I need 7 more tenths to get me up to 4, because here it is, 7 more to make this a complete 1. All right, so those are discs. Now let's take a look at what it's asking us in this section. Okay. It says draw discs to represent each number using tens, ones, and tenths. Show the expanded form of the number of fraction form of decimal form as shown. The first one has been completed for you. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at what's going on here. This first one's done for us, so we'll just talk through it. So it says you have 4 tens, 2 ones, and 6 tenths. Okay, so we have tens, ones, and tenths. So you'll see here, right? Isn't this 4 tens? There's your 4 tens. Your 2 ones are right here. And here's your tenths. There should be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Now here's a fraction expanded form. So we would write this, see you have 4 tens. You have 2 ones. And then you have 6 tenths. And then if you add that all together, right, so this is 40, and that's 2, and that's 6 tenths. So we have 42 and 6 tenths. Here's how it looks in decimals, right? So we have 4 times 10, we still have the 2 times 1, and then we have 6 tenths, and it's still equal to 42 and 6 tenths. So let's take a look. It tells us we have to draw the discs right here, okay? And then we have to write it in fraction form, and then we have to write it in decimal form. So really, it says 110. So I'm going to do 110. There's my 110. Got that out of the way. Now it says do 7 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And those are all worth 1. So I'm going to put a 1 in there. Make sure it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And now I need 5 tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make those a little bigger because I need to write my tenths in there. So here's a tenth. Here's a tenth. There's a tenth. There's a tenth. Here's a tenth. Everywhere is a tenth. Sorry. All right, so there's 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have my 10, my 7 ones, and my 5 tenths. Okay, now we have to write it out in expanded form. So let's work with this. How many tens do we have? We have 1 tenth, right? Added to the 7 ones, so it's 7 times 1, right? We have to add it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tenths, right? Because there's my 5 tenths. That is equal to, so what? We have 10, right? Plus 7 plus 5 tenths. So 10 plus 7 is 17. 17 plus 5 tenths. So it's 17 and 5 tenths. Now we can write that as a decimal. 1 times 10. We still have our 7 ones but now we want to turn this into 5 times 1/10, which is equal to still 17 and 5/10. There you go. All right, let's take a look at the back here. Okay, we're supposed to complete this chart. So here's the number line, right? It looks like we have a whole bunch of stuff that we need to fill in. So I take a look at this number line. It says, well, I start with 17 and 18, right? Here I've got mixed numbers. I got answers to decimals. Okay, we can work on this. Okay, so let's take a look. What do you know in this row? You know that my number is 3 and 9/10. Okay, so I start with 3, then I need 9/10, and then let's say, well, what would go on my number line then? Okay, I look at this one and this one, I'm going to cheat. It looks like it's between 17 and 18, right? So if I think about this 3, what's that in between? That's in between 3. It's in between 3 and 4, right? And so I need 3 of them, which is there, and then I need 9 more tenths. So I can just count over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to put my circle right there because that's 3 and 9/10. Okay, so what else is missing? Decimal form. So we should know that this is 3 and 9/10. Expanded form. Okay, fraction or decimals. Okay, so we have 3 ones and then we have 9/10, right? So we're going to say we have 3 ones plus this 9/10. So I just broke it apart, which is mean expanding it. Okay, and I know I needed 1 more tenth right here to get to 4. All right, so let's take a look at what we have down here. We have the 17 and we have the 18. So we basically, it's 17 and what? How many over is it? 17 and 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5 over, so we know that's 5/10. So it's 17 is my whole number, right? And then I count how many over? It's 5. So it's 17 and 5/10. All right, write that as a mixed number. 17 and 5/10. Now let's expand it out. We have 17 ones, right? Guess you could do, oh no, that's 17. Yeah, 17 ones, or it could be like 10 tens, 7 ones. But we'll just say 17 ones, okay, plus our 5/10. And then it says how much to get to the next one. So how far would it get from taking this to my next one? Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 5 more tenths to get to my next one. Okay. Now what we have here is we have this 7 times 10, 4 times 1, and then 7 of the tenths. Let's think about this. 7 times 10 is 70. 4 times 1 is 4. So what do we have here? We have 74, and then we have 7/10, right? We have 7 of these, so it's going to be 7 of those. So it's going to be 7/10. Okay, so we can put that in here, 74 and 7/10. Great, as a decimal, 74 and 7/10. Let's put it on the number line. Okay, so if it's 74, that means you need 74 over here, and you need 75 over here. And now you need to count over how many spots? 7 of them, because it's 7/10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my dot goes here. And then we just need to see how much more will it get to get up to the next hole. So we say 1, 2, 3 more to get there. All right. Okay. Next, we have 22 and 2/10. Okay, I'm going to write that as a decimal form because I can see it. 22 and 2/10. Okay. So now let's take a look at the number line. Well, if it's 22, it means it's in between 22 and 23. Right? And it's 2 tenths, so I need 2 of these because this is tenths. 1, 2. Right? Now I can expand that out. Right? I'm going to expand it out pretty far this time because I'll have 2 tens. Right? That gets me 20. How many ones do I have? I have 2 ones. So I have 2 ones. And then I have my 2 tenths. And then I add all those together. Okay. Now if I'm at 2 tenths, how much farther will it get me to my next hole? Well, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I need 8 tenths still to go. All right, and one more for this lesson. Okay. So I have this 8 times 10, and then I have 8 times 1/10. Okay, so what is 8 times 10? That's 80, right? But I don't have any ones because there was no ones in here. But then I just have 8 tenths, right? Because I have 8 of these. So that is 8 tenths. And I put those together, and I get 80 and 8 tenths. There you go. So how do I write that as a fraction? 80 and 8 tenths. As a decimal, I already did it there. 80 and 8 tenths. So this has to be 80, right? This has to be 81. So then I go over 8 tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tenths. There you go. And one more last thing to do over here. If I'm at 8 tenths, how much will it get me to get to 81? 1, 2. I need 2 more tenths. There you go. Okay. So that worksheet is finished. Let's go back to our learning target. Okay. It says represent mixed numbers. Okay. We looked at mixed numbers with units of tens, ones, and tenths. Well, I believe we did that. With place value discs. That was these guys. Got it. On the number line, that was right here. Okay. And then it says and in expanded form. And that's right here. Okay. So I think you met your learning target. If you don't understand any of that, you can go back and rewatch. And then after this lesson, of course, you're going back onto Zern Math Online. You're going to be working through the digital portion, and I will see if you're accomplishing that, and that will be your attendance and your grade. If this is on YouTube, please leave a comment below that you watched the video. If you took any notes, take pictures and send them to me. And I will see you on Thursday.